Hey guys, Cinemastic this year, and I just got back from seeing The Dark Knight Rises. And I really don't think I need to tell you this. I'm sure by now you've seen many reviews, you've read many reviews. You are all well aware that this is a movie you should go out and see. It's a great movie, very well done, not much in the way of negative things to say about this movie. It's fantastic. If you've seen the first two, there's no reason not to see this one. If you like the first two, yeah, see this movie. You know, do I really need to say that? No, I don't think I do. I'm sure most of you have already seen it. I'm kind of coming late into the game on this one. I really should have seen it, days ago, but just getting out to see it now, and it was a fantastic movie. I loved it. It was as great as I heard it was. Just fantastic. See the film. Now, I'm not going to get too much into what I thought. I'm just going to be very quick about this and just, I like to keep my reviews short. I don't want to get too winded and just, go on blabbering about the same thing over and over again. Not to mention, by now, I'm sure, like I've said, you've seen and read a ton of reviews on the movie. If you were interested in seeing reviews, you've probably heard tons of stuff about the movie, and most of it's probably all been the same thing. I've seen a bunch of reviews and read a bunch of reviews, and it's mostly been all the same thing over and over again. I don't want to do it to you guys, but I will say I do tend to spoil movies when I review them, because I want to talk about the things I want to talk about. I don't want to hold back. I'm not going to go, oh, maybe I shouldn't talk about that because maybe you guys don't know that. No, I'm going to talk about the movie. So if you don't want to be spoiled at all, stop watching now, because it might happen. So let's get down into it. Like I said, a great movie. And I kind of went into the movie thinking, I sort of assumed it was probably going to be, not nearly as good as the second one, but at least as good as the first one. I had no doubts that it was at least going to be that good. And I was right in the sense that it wasn't as good. Personally, I thought it wasn't as good as The Dark Knight. I love the second movie. I mean, for me, Heath Ledger as the Joker made that movie. I mean, it was already a great story, don't get me wrong. Fantastic movie, great plot, great story. But I have a soft spot in my heart for the Joker. He's always been my all-time favorite villain. I can't get enough of the Joker. And Heath Ledger did a fantastic job playing the Joker. So, for me, that was the best. I didn't think they could possibly top that. And I wouldn't say, for me personally, again, I wouldn't say they topped the movie, but I would say they definitely topped the first one. This movie was a real close second in how great it was to the last film. It was it held up. It definitely didn't really go downhill. I mean, it might have gone down just a little bit because of how much I liked the second movie, but very low grade on how far this one went down. It didn't go down very far at all. It was a fantastic movie. Like I said, definitely a solid follow-up to the last film. Brilliantly done. I thought Bane was a great bad guy. I wasn't quite sure my thoughts on that. I'd seen Bane in other other movies. Obviously a lot in, the animated series. I don't really read comics. I'm not much of a reader. I pretty much get all my comic knowledge from movies, which I know is horrible, because they're never anything like the comics, but it's who I am. But I knew a little bit about Bane. I have friends who are really into comics, so I knew about things about Bane from my friends talking about him and everything. I knew kind of like a little bit about his history in the comic books, so I wasn't quite sure. I was like, is Bane going to really be a strong enough villain for this movie? I just didn't know. I thought maybe it's going to be like Ra's al Ghul again, where he was a good bad guy and all, but I wasn't quite sure if he was good enough. And they had the Scarecrow in the first one, and I thought the Scarecrow was a really good bad guy. Just they didn't use him well enough in the first one. I didn't think. I think he really should have been more menacing and more of a threat than he was. So the bad guys in the first movie, I felt just a little weak to me. I didn't think were really good enough, and I was scared that was going to happen again. I was scared that Bane, just wasn't going to be a good enough bad guy. I was wrong. He was fantastic. He did a great job. They did a great Bane in this movie. They, things a little different about him, but, and they linked him to the first movie, or to Ra's al Ghul in the first movie. They linked it back to that. So I like how we did like a full circle. Thought that was really well done. I really liked how they did that. And yeah, like I said, he was a fantastic villain in this movie. He was really menacing, badass, just a great guy. There's this fantastic scene where he's fighting Batman. They drop all the music, and it's just punching and kicking sounds. That's it, you know, Batman growling and, you know, huffing and puffing, and he's getting the shit beat out of him. Bane is just destroying Batman in the scene. It's great. I loved it. If you haven't seen the movie, you're gonna love that scene. It was just great. I mean, not that I want to see Batman get, you know, the crap beat out of him, but it is interesting to see Batman actually being defeated. I mean, he's just getting wailed on. He is no match for Bane in this scene. I mean, later on he figures out kind of his weakness, obviously the mask, but, you know, at this point he hasn't figured that out, so he just gets destroyed and completely laid out, and it's a great scene. So, yes, Bane was a fantastic bad guy, although, alright, I won't spoil that part for you, but he was a really good bad guy. Catwoman, I liked her. I liked how they did Selina Kyle in this movie. They didn't, you know, I went into it expecting her to be more of a bad guy. I thought, because, you know, I really hadn't, the reviews I saw in the movie really didn't talk too much about, like, what Selina Kyle, you know, what Catwoman's role really was. So I wasn't quite sure going into it what she was going to be doing. I thought maybe they were going to make her more of a bad guy, and they really didn't. They made her what she is. She's, you know, she's a villain, but she's also good. She's like, she walks the line of being a villain and being a superhero. You know, she's always balancing on that. She's not really evil, but, you know, she likes to think she is, but she's really a good person. And they did that in this movie. They made her, you know, a cat burglar and stealing stuff, and she kept saying how, you know, she doesn't care and she wants, you know, Gotham to be destroyed and yada yada. But in the end, she did care. And this is not a spoiler. If you don't know she's coming back to help out Batman in the end, you're an idiot. Obviously, she says she's going to just blow up this this barrier, and then she's taken off. You know, as soon as she said that, you know she's coming back. You know they're not just going to make the character leave. That's not going to happen. So obviously she comes back, helps out Batman. So they made her, you know, again, walking that line where she, you know, she proves herself in the end, and, you know, she shows she's a good person. Commissioner Gordon was fantastic in it. Just really, I mean, everybody was fantastic about it. I always forget his name, Tommy from Third Rock from the Sun, whatever the hell his name is. He was a great character in this movie. I loved him. Thought he did great. He just really well acted. He was a very strong character, and when I first saw him show up, I wasn't quite sure, because in my mind, he's Tommy. That's, you know, I always see him as Tommy from Third Rock from the Sun, so I wasn't quite sure what to think of him when he first showed up, but he proved himself throughout the movie. Definitely proved himself to me, and I thought he held up great with everybody else. Did a great job in the movie. I loved him. Thought he was fantastic. I don't want to get, I guess I don't want to get too much more into the movie than that. You know, I don't want to start talking about the plot and, you know, explaining it all the way. I'll try to not spoil this too much for you guys. But, you know, it was a really well done plot. Like I said, held up very well, very suspenseful. A lot of people were saying, you know, a lot of it wasn't actiony enough, especially the beginning. I see what people were saying, but I thought it worked because Batman's, you know, he's gone. He's been gone for a while. He hasn't, you know, even Bruce Wayne hasn't shown up for a while. He's been kind of like, you know, he's exiled himself. He's just locked himself up in Wayne Manor, and he hasn't come out. And, you know, they're trying to build him back up in the beginning of the movie. They're trying to build up, you know, Batman's coming back. Bruce Wayne is coming back. And I thought it worked. You know, like I said, I know some people thought it was really wordy. It kind of dragged in the beginning a little bit. It was a little slow. I thought it worked because I was getting pumped as you know, he was kind of coming back. I was getting excited about that, and I thought it worked for me. Yeah, not a lot of action in the beginning, but, you know, they had to build the characters. They had to build up Selina Kyle. They had to build up, you know, Bane. They had to build up Batman and, you know, how he's coming back. All the supporting cast, they had to get them coming back. I thought it worked. I definitely liked it. I didn't have anything wrong at the beginning. You know, whether it was, just because it's an action movie doesn't mean I'm like, oh, it's got to be action, 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 action. It doesn't have to be. There's no reason to be. I'm really, you know, I want to see action in an action movie, but I also want a really good story. I don't want the story to be shit because you're too busy, you know, throwing punches the entire time. No, I want a really good story, and I thought the beginning made for a good story. So that's it. That's really it. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to get into the plot too much. You know, I thought it was really well done, very suspenseful. Cast did a great job. A fantastic follow-up. Now, this is probably a spoiler here, so cover your ears, stop watching, turn this video off, do something. I'm going to talk about the ending of the movie right now. I wasn't quite sure what to think. At the end of the movie, and here we go, here's the spoiler, you're at first supposed to think that Batman is dead. You're supposed to think that he sacrificed himself to save Gotham. He takes the bomb, flies off into the bay, it explodes, and you think he's dead. Everybody's sad, they built a statue for him. Everybody knows Batman has sacrificed his life for Gotham City. He tells Commissioner, well, he doesn't directly tell Commissioner Gordon that he's Bruce Wayne, but he says thank you for, something about a little boy putting a coat over him, yada, 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 and obviously Commissioner Gordon figures out that it's Bruce Wayne, Batman is Bruce Wayne. So at the end of the movie, you're thinking, oh, he's dead. But really quickly, about 5 minutes later, you find out maybe he's not so dead. What do they call it? They call it the Bat. His little plane he's flying around. They say that the autopilot was fixed on that, so okay, he's probably not dead. And then we're led into once again Tommy from Throw Rock from the Sun. His character is apparently Robin. And at the end of the movie, the one girl goes, "Oh, you should really go by your real name or your full name." I like Robin. You're like, okay, all right. And then at the end of the movie, his character shows up at the Batcave. And that was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. I even enjoyed the ends where they actually show that Bruce Wayne is still alive. Alfred's always saying that he goes to goes on vacation to this little cafe, and he always expects to see Bruce sitting there and happy with the family, and he's not necessarily with the family, but he goes there to the cafe. He looks over, and sure enough, he starts smiling, and they pan over, and there's Bruce Wayne smiling back, and they don't say anything. That's what one of the things they said one of the things that Alfred said. He's like, when I would see you, we wouldn't say anything, but we both know everything was all right and everything was going well, and they don't say anything. They just smile at each other, and and Alfred gets this huge grin on his face. He's pretty happy to know that Bruce Wayne is still alive, and now we all know that he actually didn't die and he didn't sacrifice himself. But like I said, the big thing is that Tommy, I don't know his damn name. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name from the movie. I can't remember his real name. I'm sure you're all shouting it at me right now. I'm really bad with actors' names. I'm horrible with that. My wife is the one. I can remember every quote and the name of every movie ever made, that I've ever seen. But you can ask me what the name of some actor from that movie was, and I can name you 50 movies they've been in, but the actual name of them, my brain goes blank. So, Tommy from Throw Rock from the Sun, the big thing is, he's apparently going to be Robin now. And I had heard that this was it. This was the Batman trilogy, done, finished, the end. So after that, I hadn't looked any more into it. I didn't look any more into, oh, is this, is there going to be more movies, or is this really going to be it? Because I had heard it was, so I just assumed that was actually going to be it. But they left it wide open for more movies, whether it's going to be like Batman and Robin movies, or whether now it's just going to be a Robin movie. I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen? Please, actually, I would love you guys to give me some input on that, since I haven't looked into it, and I just got back to the movie, so actually I haven't had time to look into it at all. I'll probably end up looking into it eventually, but still, let me know what you guys know. If you guys know any news about them continuing the story, let me know, because, like I said, last I heard, this was it. It was supposed to be a trilogy and no more. But of course, I would love to see more Batman movies. I mean, the last three were fantastic. Like I said, the first one was a little weak to me. It was building up the new character, rebuilding Batman, and it was good. And I certainly enjoy the first movie. I'm not gonna diss the first movie at all. It was a great movie. Like I said, it did have some problems. It wasn't perfect. After I watched it, I went, yeah, that was good, but it could have been a little bit better. But, second and third were fantastic, and I would love to see a fourth, fifth, sixth, and whatever. Especially now with Robin. I mean, if they introduce Robin now, that would be fantastic. And then they can go off and do, like, Nightwing, and it could just get really, really good. I would love to see more. So if you guys know anything, if you guys know if there's going to be more Batman movies, clue me in. I would love to know, and love to know what you've heard. Like I said, I'll probably do some research into this after I'm done with this video, but if you guys know anything, yeah, definitely clue me in. let me know, because I would like to know maybe what you've heard that maybe I'm not going to get around to reading or something. Definitely love to hear that. So, yeah, there's a spoiler alert for you. That's kind of the entire ending of the movie right there. So, hopefully you stopped watching, like, 10 minutes ago when I told you to stop watching. So again, the movie was fantastic. There's absolutely no reason not to see this movie. If you've seen the first two and you like the first two, yeah, see the movie. When I say see it in theater, yeah, you know, it's very rare that I say this is definitely one you must see in a theater. And I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say you must see this in a theater. I think it would be perfectly fine. You got a nice big TV at home. It would be fine, you know, renting or buy. Well, I wouldn't say rent. I'd say buy it. This movie should be in everybody's collection. So I would say, yeah, if you're not really a movie goer, then yeah, you can wait. If you're not absolutely dying to see it, just hold off. Buy it when it comes out. Get it for cheap or something like that, you know, or what the best price you can get it for, and then yeah, watch it. You know, watch it on your high def TV. Obviously, get it in Blu-ray because it's gonna look fantastic in Blu-ray. So, you know, watch it on your nice big high def TV if you got one, and you'll be fine. Otherwise, you know, if you're a movie goer or maybe you just don't have a nice big TV, yeah, see it in theaters. It's a movie that it does work really well in the theaters. It is a movie that I would say if you want to see them, if you're thinking about seeing this movie in theaters, yeah, go ahead, see it in the theaters. It's definitely a movie that holds up really well in the theaters. But like I said, not absolutely 100% necessary. I felt, you know, not enough big explosions and craziness going on. I'd say the last movie, yeah, that was definitely a theater movie. This movie, you know, a lot of, as people said, it's a little slow dialogue, lots of story as opposed to a lot of action. So, you know, it doesn't necessarily need to be seen in theaters. But once again, it is fine to see in theaters because it was a great movie and just so much great stuff going on that, yeah, it holds up in the theater. So I guess I'll leave it there. Hopefully I didn't spoil too much for you except for the entire ending of the film. But like I said, hopefully you stopped watching. If you haven't, well, I warned you. So again, a fantastic movie. Definitely see it. I love it. I can't wait for it to come out on Blu-ray now because I'll definitely be picking it up. This might be one of the few times that I splurge. You know, usually I don't pay more than $5 for a movie, but I might splurge and pick this one up on Blu-ray. Not necessarily the day it comes out. I might wait for the drop a little bit. I'm not going to pay like $20, $25 for the movie when it comes out on Blu-ray, but I don't know, maybe when it drops down to like $15, $10, something like that, I'll splurge and pick it up on Blu-ray because I'm gonna want to watch this movie again real soon because it was just great. In fact, when this comes out on Blu-ray, I'm gonna sit down and watch all three movies back to back. That's what I plan on doing. I really actually, after watching this, I really want to watch the first two movies again. But I thought, you know what? No, I'm gonna hold off. I'm gonna wait for this to come out on Blu-ray, and then I'll sit down and just watch them all back to back. You know, why watch the first two just right now? Well, no, I'm gonna hold off and wait. So, okay, I'm rambling on now. So that's it. So, The Dark Knight Rises, a fantastic movie. Once again, do I really need to say that? I think we all know it was going to be good. I'm sure you've all heard it was going to be good. So, see the movie.